It is Monday, September 30th, 2024, at 6:05 PM. I would like to bring the meeting of the Douglas Board of Health to order. We have first on the agenda, we have Shore Road discussion, Jim Tassino. And I would like to turn this meeting over to my attorney, our attorney, Mr. Bowen.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, thank you.
Who have we got for Mr. Tassino?
Good afternoon, sir. Attorney Ernie Horn,
You guys want to come sit at the table?
Yeah, you guys can come right up.
if you can see me.
Yeah, I can see you fine, thanks.
Apparently,
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
didn't, apparently I didn't
Come on up.
get,
So
I didn't get the
what's it all
memo.
about?
I didn't get the memo, apparently.
Oh.
I think he's having a hard time. Oh, he's probably having a hard
Did he
time.
freeze? No?
You want to sit at the table?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, okay. Good, grab a seat.
Thank
Make
you.
yourself comfortable. So who have you got with you there?
So it's Jim Tassino. My father owned 103 Shore Road, it abuts 105 Shore Road. Back in 2009, he raised some concerns about the leachate from 105 Shore Road bleeding onto the property. The Board of Health went up there. Did a records request of the information available, and it was a very detailed response. The correspondence to that owner and subsequently his attorney start in 2009 and run through mid-end of 2013. They had attempted to do some sort of testing, dye testing. They threatened to get a warrant to do the testing, and you know, that stuff is historic and speaks for itself. It's in the record.
Yeah, I've read all that stuff.
Okay,
Was
so
Henry Wayne the attorney representing them?
at the time, yes, it was Henry Lane representing them. So, you know,
Is Henry still involved in this?
I don't know if he's involved in the Board of Health matter. He's still the attorney of record for the Bolinskis. Joe Bolinsky and Lou Tassino passed away within 5 days of each other in October of 2021.
Holy smokes.
I know, huh?
Wow.
If they didn't die the same week, they would have said Lou killed Joe. I'm sure that's what they would have said. I'm sure that's what they would have said. The,
I shouldn't laugh, but.
you know, so there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of history there. You can read it all.
I know, so what's
So this is
happening right now?
this is where we are. We're going to be utilizing that property in the near future, or we're going to be trying to market it. Either way, we need to have that septic issue resolved. So a couple of things have transpired. I've read every single record published and retained in this matter. So this starts off as Bolinsky suing Tassino over a Board of Health issue. That matter was filed in 2006, right around the time when Bolinsky finished their house and Lou Tassino started to build his house. That original complaint was dismissed without prejudice, but Tassino filed a counterclaim, and he received in excess of $3,300, and it had to do with the damage to his property, which was excavate and landscaping, according to some of the correspondence on his property during the construction of 105. During the building permit application for 105 is signed off by the Board of Health, and in the note, it says existing cesspool. So, you know, I'm going to jump around a little bit. During my review of the records that were provided, the detailed records that were provided by the Board of Health, there are no pumping logs, there are no repair logs, there are no inspections, there are no Title V inspections, there are no anything related to the septic. Subsequent to that 2006 case, Mr. Bolinsky was deposed. I had the pleasure of reading that transcript in its entirety. He says in that he never pumped the septic. He was questioned about it, and he says he did not pump it. I was at a hearing in land court over the summer where I met Mrs. Bolinsky and her lovely daughter, And when they were testifying, they were asked questions about the septic. And they said they never pumped the septic, they don't have any information about the septic. They said that they believed Joe Belinsky, her husband, and her dad had pumped the septic or maintained the septics. So,
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be shocking. I mean, I don't think my wife knows when I get our septic tank pumped, so.
yeah.
You know.
Hey, at least you know you have a septic tank, right? So as part of the land court hearings, in the afternoon, we actually visited the property, and we were able to walk around the entire site with the judge. You know, I have a septic installer license in dozens and dozens of communities. I have maybe a little bit more knowledge than the lay person with septic systems. There were no obvious components exposed, access areas. The lot is pretty much all developed. The well, I didn't really observe the well. So, you know, the gist of tonight's meeting, and in 2013, you guys were well on your way to solving a problem that's probably contaminated the lake, our property, and our well on that 103 Shore Road. Subsequent to nothing being done, I think the board has changed. I think there's a new agent. I don't want to use the words like drop the ball or didn't continue or do anything, but, you know, we need to, again, utilize that property in the near future, and we really want to make sure that this has been resolved. Now, oddly enough, Joe, Lou, and Henry Lane came up with a plan to solve the septic issue at 105.
What happened to that?
Well, so it was in the works, and it was going to be on a piece of property owned by Henry Lane's brother-in-law's company, Douglas Properties, across the street. There is an agreement to get a piece of land to put that septic there. There was some soil testing done, and I don't know what happened. I guess drop the ball might fit in there too. So here we are today, right? Based on the topography of that lot and what I know about septic systems, it's not possible to conceive a conventional cesspool is protecting the lake, the Belinsky's drinking water supply, 105's water supply, our property. It's just not feasible. The separation.
Let me ask you, how deep are the wells?
So we have an artesian well, I think it's 160 or 70 feet deep with 25 or 30 foot of casing, if I recall. I can find that exact answer out if you want.
No, that's okay, that gives me a rough idea.
Yeah, but just because of the lot size, the lot location, the elevation, the topography of the lake in comparison to that lot, it's not possible to provide protection to the lake and the drinking water supply. It's just not practical without some sort of state-of-the-art system that obviously wasn't permitted and installed because of the review of the records, or a tight tank. Now, so after our meeting in land court over the summer, it really was an enjoyment claim, and this is really getting in the weeds we don't need to get into. But long story short, I spent some time in the hallway with the Belinsky, and I had offered to address this for them. Because I think the septic does come out in the rear of the property based on the orientation of the plumbing, although I can't say for sure. And I do think that leachate in the puddles that were tested by you folks in 2009 a couple of times was leachate from a septic system. So I think their cesspool that is noted on the building permit application that the Board of Health signed off on in 2005 is probably located right next to the water in the corner of our property. To fix it or to repair it would require a tight tank, probably in the water table. Access to the area would have to be over our property unless you came in from the lake or went over the structure with a crane. We do this for a living. Again, I offered to resolve this for them, but I've never heard back. So here we are. You know, this is the,
Anybody from the Belenskis here?
I don't think so. Counsel, part of the issue is it's leaching onto my client's property.
But I get it. So his property
And we're
is
not,
away.
yeah, we're
What do
not.
you want the board to do right now?
So what we'd like the board to do is to pick up where they left off and follow through with that. If I understand it correctly, and, you know, we all get busy with different things, so we're not suggesting that the board did something wrong. I think what happened was the board was trying to move forward with the inspection and sampling of the property, and they kept putting them off through their lawyer. They're not available, you know, this is a seasonal house, they're not there all the time, we'll get back to you. And I think this went a few times, and like everything else in the world, the town got busy with other stuff. My sense was they didn't particularly want to give the town access to do an analysis. So I think what we're asking is to pick up where you left off, wherever you guide them as far as a new certified letter or whatever you want to do, and pick up where you left off and get to the bottom of this. That would be our
Mr. Chairman,
request.
Mr. Chairman, do you think the board has heard enough to ask the agent to at least go out and begin some sort of investigation?
Absolutely.
Thank
And
you.
I think that would be the appropriate first step. And then Kristen can ask for access to the property. If access is denied, well, there are things we can do about that. But I think step one is probably just authorize the investigation, get Kristen out. Kristen, I know you're there. Have Kristen go out and look it over, report back to the board, and see what the next steps ought to be from there. And if you're not given permission to go out there, let me know, and I'll advise you as to what you need to do.
And certainly, they have permission to go on your property.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
You can
And I
access
think the
his
idea
property.
would be, if we need to go on your property, what would, we don't want to just show up unannounced, not invited. Would there be a methodology you'd want for you to be notified that we
Yeah,
were coming out?
Kristen knows how to get a hold of me. That'd be adequate.
Okay, Kristen, you're good with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And we'll certainly fully cooperate, whatever you need. We'd like to get it resolved.
Mr. Chairman, maybe a motion like I move to authorize the agent to do an investigation of the complaint regarding leachate in the lake and on the Tocino property.
So moved.
Okay, yeah. Do I hear, what do we want to do? So move?
So moved, as stated, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we pass the motion?
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's probably where we are for the moment. And then, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Kristen, just keep me advised as to how it's developing, and I'll assist you at every step.
Thank you. Thank you very
And
much.
do it- Sir, I don't think you and I have had the pleasure of working with each other before, but if I have to attend another meeting, do I have permission not to wear a tie?
I highly recommend it myself.
Thank you very much. And thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
If
for
you
bringing
need
this
anything from me,
our
just,
attention again. I mean, that's,
thank you.
Good night, everybody.
should be,
Good night, sir.
yeah, totally, I bet. Just got,
I don't think they dropped it.
Okay, next we have
Yeah, it's
animal regulations, and I believe, Lori?
point.
yeah, I am able to speak about the regulations and discuss whatever we need to discuss. I went through a few things, and I had a few, like, little things.
You know what I mean, like, and that.
Yeah, do you want to start with your comments, or do you want me to roll in with my questions?
Yeah, rolling with maybe your questions will, you know.
Okay, I'll start
roll
with
in.
the application. I'm still looking, does anyone have a ballpark of what they want for a fee for the application? Standard is usually $25 in towns around here, but it's your
I've been going between 10 and 25. I wouldn't go more than 25.
Yeah.
I certainly would do a minimum of 10. But
Okay.
I don't want to discourage people, like, we've never done it.
Yep.
So I don't want to discourage people from being honest with too much of a fee either.
Yep.
You know, I mean, there's processing involved, but how much processing is there really? Are we gonna like take this, cut it out, make a copy of it, put it in a folder labeled animals, and then give some of them, I mean, when he comes in, the inspector comes in, just give him a list of them. So, I mean, how much do we need? I mean, I don't want to have it, weigh you down for nothing, but I don't want to discourage people from obtaining a permit either.
Yeah.
As it is, like, silly things, but we looked into an LLC. Some states, it's $30, $50. Ours, it's $500. It's like, we do a lot here where we charge people for everything. So, instances where we can charge less, I am game for it.
Did you get my comments?
Last week?
No, on the animals
Yeah, that was
regulation?
I put
last
yours in.
meeting.
Yep, yeah, I already edited it. I have a new draft and I put your comments in. Yep.
Do you want to just go in the middle for 20 instead of fee?
We could go there and see what happens.
It's almost comparable to other.
Pretty even number.
Okay, yeah,
Let's go 20.
okay.
Let's go 20 and see where we start there. I mean, if we don't get a good,
Can
if
be
we,
tabled again.
if we feel like we haven't gotten an accurate number from people, then
Yeah.
we can drop it to 10 and see if
Yeah.
that helps, or 15 or something, but I
Okay.
think 20 is fair.
The application too, there's a question. It says if they don't renew their application every year 30 days prior, they need to do a new application. Do we want to keep that? Do we want to remove it?
I think that's fair. I think
Okay.
that's good. Could we do like a first-time fee of $20 and a renewal fee of $10 to encourage people to renew?
You could, if that's what you lean towards.
How many, do you have any sense of how many people this will?
I have no
capture?
sense.
I would imagine, so I had a pretty good list when I was the inspector, and that was 12 years ago. I assume that's grown.
Just
But
curious.
but I had a pretty good list of people, and I was just like, driving around, and if I saw a horse in somebody's backyard, I pulled over. Most of them were not, there was no registration, there was no application. We had a list of people who had applied to build barns through the building department, and that was about all we went off of. Besides that, it was just me looking. So I think if we can do that and maybe charge a renewal fee that's less, it might encourage people to do that within the 30 days and sort of keep it rolling. Might take, 3 to 5 years to really get everything, but
Is this going to be on a specific date, like January, or is it spread out over the year?
I would do it,
Specific date,
for the renewal?
yeah.
The renewal of the permit, I would say specific date would be January 1st, right? It would
Give or
make-
take, yeah, I think it should just be a set date
It
every
would make the
year.
most sense.
Right, so people can.
I think
negotiate the fee.
I think at last meeting we had discussed it coinciding with the dog
Yeah,
cat
that's right.
census.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
February.
So that's March.
I think so.
It's March or February. I can look into
We'll
it.
have to check
I think
town
it is
clerk.
March, because we have to do it,
Yeah. Something tells me it's March, but,
yeah.
I'll look into that.
yeah, clerk, no, pretty quick.
Okay.
So this is gonna be through which office? It will be through town clerk? Which office would be?
Here.
called? Here.
The Board of
us?
Health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But March, we also have a stickers. Do we want to do both at the same time? If it won't be too much?
Good point. But if they have to apply for it 30 days,
You'd have everything done.
Yeah,
January
hopefully.
1st would probably be better for us.
Then that,
Yeah.
whatever works.
So not do the,
You
Yeah.
know, so much money, different pools, different source of money.
I mean, it doesn't really have to coincide with dogs, because I think, that would help some people, but I don't think it's huge. I mean, we're
You know what, I don't
so
know if it matters. You know what?
accustomed.
Because all the other applications are due, all the other licenses are due January 1st. So maybe March
You can
1st.
pick.
Yeah, I know. It's my worst evil.
so do you want to do?
I mean, I think I'm
Coincide.
okay with either one. Either date is fine with me. I don't think I have a preference for
I think March.
whatever's.
Whatever the clerk, I guess, says for dogs, we'll just keep it
Okay,
at that.
I'll do that. Okay. So the swine regulations that were Not sure what year they're from. I'm going to find a spot to put them in. I just haven't had a
Add that to
time.
the-
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm going to add that into the regulation, just so you know.
Could I make one additional change to the application for annual permit to keep animals? Could you indicate in the italicized print, type and number of animals, indicate species of animals to be kept and number? Could we add an estimated number? Maybe best estimated number or something to that effect? Just in case there is a slight fluctuation, it says it in the verbiage that.
Okay.
And again, this is only for the application, so this is people on less than 2 acres that are applying for a permit to keep animals. So this is a little more of a specific thing anyways.
And then, was last time we talked about the concept of grandfathering?
Yeah.
I didn't know if anyone wanted to elaborate on that. I have nothing in the regulations about grandfathering, so I'm more than happy to. I just didn't know where you wanted to take that. It's something we could always table, but just to keep in mind.
I'm not sure.
If you want to just keep it on your radar.
So the people who already are under the 2 acre limit, who have animals or livestock, who are,
Something like that, yeah.
who, so maybe if, can we do that? I mean, we got to get going, right? We can't have people like 6 years from now saying, I had chickens for 30 years and they just got them, you know?
Yeah.
Because they have them off and on. So maybe if we like give like a year notice, like you must apply for a permit or there's no fee or something, or instead of the permit, if
they
you're
did
already
their
there.
keeping of livestock to
Keeping of
begin with,
livestock.
And then the next year.
Start with that, and then next year we can do the permit thing or something, or that way, you know, people who have them aren't being put out to go through the process of applying for something when they already have them. That doesn't really seem to make sense to me, but we still want to know they have them, so
Yeah, yep,
keeping of livestock.
okay. Yeah, I can toy around with that idea. We did talk about, the resident last time was concerned about chickens, if there's any regs of keeping chickens inside at night. There are no regs of that in any town that I found. So I just wanted to clarify, I didn't find anything.
I didn't think so. I think that would be,
That's to the discretion of the owner.
yeah, I think at that point, it's a nuisance complaint or
It is,
something, it would
yeah.
go to
If
you.
you're
and-
doing, say, you're permitting chickens, 1 chicken or 100 chickens, doesn't matter?
I have 8 hens.
Oh, you do.
I think any more than that, Bob?
If you have less than 8, you don't need a permit.
I think any more than that, and then it would depend on your manure management plan, your feed management plan, and your
Yep.
pest management plan. And even if they didn't have to fill out an application, if people were doing a keeping of livestock and something came about, you could always request those things from anybody, and they should have an idea. If they don't, then they wouldn't have to create an idea. And I think that would be a Board of Health, case-by-case
Right,
situation.
okay.
You know, I don't think we'd need a regulation to stand on to tell somebody like, hey, your pile smells and it's affecting your neighbor, you need to do, it's a
Although, you never
nuisance. No, you don't. No. And if they're a registered farm, they have a right to farm act too. So,
And then last time we talked about putting it in the town census. Any idea what we
Oh,
want to do?
of putting the keeping of livestock form in there
Yeah,
to get us going?
yeah. I think it's something that we could definitely figure out in the future, but just to keep the idea going.
I think it might make sense, even if they just throw it away, a one-time shot,
Yeah.
and not the permit one, but just the keeping of livestock,
Yeah.
just to try to get the radar out there of what people have. I mean, I would imagine a lot of them will end up in the trash, but hopefully not. You know, hopefully people will be honest and,
Paper recycling.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll end up in paper recycling. That's better. That's better.
Okay, we did application fee. So abutters, do we want to have abutters be notified and have to approve? Or how do you want to go about that? Because it's kind of the same concept of the grandfathering, brings that into play as well.
I think for the permit, side of it, maybe, when they're applying for a permit, a butter should be notified, because that would lead you to believe it's less than 2 acres, so they're right in their backyards, right, they'd be pretty tight. I think if they don't show for the Board of Health meeting where we talk about it, then it's assumed that they don't care.
Okay. There's other ways of doing it too. You can always have the neighbors write an email or a letter and say, I approve. It's okay, they have animals.
Yeah.
Kind of jazz too, if they wanted to go about that, so they could do that too.
I could do that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, if people aren't, I think as long as we know a certified letter went there and
Yeah.
they were notified, then I think that would be sufficient.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I mean, I think that if somebody wants to complain, they can
So
come.
the person applying would go get the abutters list and send them out?
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah. So it would be even if
Just give us
someone's
copies.
behind you, any,
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I mean, pretty easy. You just Google Douglas Assessor's Map and you get
Yep.
way more information than you would ever need.
Yep. And then
Do they usually attach that to the application?
they should, yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Should there be some sort of like a note, just a brief note that like this is a new, just something to describe
Introduction.
it?
Yeah, we
Put it
could
on
do
something.
some little
I think
blurb.
something, because I think if it just goes out, it's
Oh,
definitely.
you'll have some, a
Right.
little write-up with that.
Yeah.
Right, like a fun yellow piece of
Attention,
paper. or
attention
something.
all animal keepers.
Right.
Just so they know, and even for the first.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and
Can I
then,
ask a question? Sorry, just for clarification about the abutters.
Excuse me, but could you
Oh,
address
sure.
yourself, please?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
That's okay.
I'm Jessica Guyman from 2 A Street.
Okay.
I own a small flock of chickens. So I have, just a few questions. I'm just not quite understanding, are you saying that to apply for a permit, that we would need the approval of our abutters? Okay.
Yeah.
And would, if we already have chickens in under 2 acres, would we be grandfathered, or would we still need the approval of our abutters if we already have them?
how do you want to do that?
I would say for, right now, we're going with the grandfather being, you
1
would
year.
just doing the keeping of livestock form. I would say at the end of that, when it's time for the permit, you'd have to notify the abutters, but I'm not necessarily in favor of having the abutters' approval. I would say notification is enough. If they want to come and lodge a complaint, then that would have to be discussed. If somebody said, well, these chickens have been causing a nuisance for years, then we would probably ask for your manure management plan, the feed plan, the pest control plan, like what you're doing to minimize the impact on your neighbors for that. I would imagine if you're trying to mitigate as best you can, I don't see a scenario where I would tell somebody to get rid of their chickens,
Yeah.
but I can't, I mean, till we have the regulation and are working with it.
Can I ask what the procedure is or will be for nuisance complaints? Like how those are handled, investigated, and at what point would fines be levied?
So those are going to be based on case to case, because you're not sure what the complaint's going to be. So I'm the regional health inspector. So in that sort of case, I would go out, potentially the animal control officer, potentially the animal inspector. It's going to depend on the case. And it would be, say, for example, it's roosters being very loud. Someone could call, let us know, we can go observe it. If we see it, then we can take it, we're going to take it to the board, and we're going to talk about it there and decide next course of action.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, that helps.
Okay.
I think most situations can be mitigated.
Yeah.
Like, there's not too many situations out there where I think somebody would have to get rid of their chickens. I don't envision that at all.
Right. And would that more apply to as long as they're following all the other rules, like the 30-foot setback and so forth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
if we can see that you're maintaining the well-being and you're following the rules, you should be in a good spot.
Right, okay. I think last meeting, I listened after the fact. Just wanted to ask about the something was mentioned about fines for $10 a day, and then they might be elevated to the removal of animals.
Yeah, that would be a case scenario if we take it to the board and they are, let's say their manure, they're not maintaining their manure and the smell is horrible and it's impacting the animals and it's impacting their quality of life, and we'll give them that $10 fine a day, and then they would have to remove their animals, which would be to our discretion.
Okay, so it really is on a case-by-case basis?
It really is.
Because you mentioned the right to farm, but that's only for commercial farms, is that correct?
Generally, you need a license through the
Okay.
state that you are, in fact, a farm of
Right.
some sort.
So like a normal hobby farmer isn't protected against nuisance or odor complaints under, because there's no right to farm law in Douglas, is that correct?
I thought Douglas was a right to farm town community. I thought Douglas was a right to farm community, but I'm not positive. So this regulation is really, the purpose I'm hoping is really designed for the animals' well-being, so that we can get a hold of who has the animals, so that we can better monitor how people are caring for the animals, because of some recent complaints about animal husbandry practices. So I would say this is more in line with that, with, of course, keeping others in mind, too. We don't want to infringe on anybody, so
Right.
we like our town where we can sort of do without too many questions about what we got going on, we like that. So-
And we're happy that you're here to input. We're trying to get everyone's.
Oh, thank you.
It helps.
Thank you for
It does.
taking my questions, because, a few years back, I think actually when you were the animal inspector, I had a complaint about my rooster, and it was that he was crowing in the middle of the night. My roosters chose to not go in the coop at night and instead roost on a garden trellis, and my neighbors have a floodlight that's on all night, so they were probably off throughout the night. And
Probably, yeah.
I actually went out there and even in winter on a step stool with my leather gloves and took each one off and put them into the coop physically after I received that complaint. So
I've done that.
I do care about my neighbors, I want to be sensitive to that. And,
Absolutely.
I do that with my roosters now. I mean, I put all my birds inside every night, and I lock the coop up every night, and I don't let them out until the morning. And sometimes they don't always go in.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Okay. If someone doesn't hand in their permit on time, late fee cost. What do you want to do?
So I think we get away with the necessity for a late fee if they don't get to do the renewal that is lesser.
Yep.
So they would have to pay the full permit fee
Okay.
if they were late. So past, for the month of December, whatever, it's $10. You don't miss, you forget, Christmas happens, and you're, whatever, if it's January 1st, you know what I mean? And sorry, January 1st, you pay the $20.
Okay. Gotta see where I was.
Not to punish, but encourage.
Now, a situation, they say, okay, well, I missed the date, I'm just not going to do it this year. And then they stop, but they still keep the animals. They're on a list. I mean, we can drive by and see them in the backyard. Is there a penalty for falsifying information, for not renewing the permit, for, that's something that we should probably discuss. Is there a penalty for purposely not doing it? If you're,
Well, that would be a violation.
if you're caught with animals, right?
That kind of a violation should have a,
I could tie that into the 10-day fine a day and then potential the end removal of animals.
So we should think about that as a
Yeah.
violation.
Okay.
I don't think that's something we should be jumping on right away. We
Yeah,
need to
but
make sure
worth
that we
noting. Yeah.
we ease people into this and that they're understanding of the purpose of it first, and then maybe 2 years down the road or something, as we reach compliance, we can
Okay.
sort of have that.
Okay. And then I have I guess, coming back to the $10 per day. Do we want to limit? Do we want to do the limit? I have a 7-day limit. How do you feel about that? So in total it would be $70, and then they would have to remove their animals.
any way we can do a board discretion or agent discretion on that? Can we work it so that it's case by case?
Yep.
Depending on the severity of the
Yep.
situation? I mean, there'd be some that might be immediate removal.
Yep,
They have a,
I can do
You know, yeah, if the animals are, you know, untrimmed, their feet are
Yep.
in mud, you know, I mean.
I can do that.
But that might fall to the state too. At that point, we might be talking about like the Animal Welfare Act and
Yeah,
things like that, so.
So I have the sentence about roosters. So it says, persons shall be allowed roosters. Complaints of roosters to the Board of Health may result in removal of said livestock determined by the board. Are we okay with that wording? Do we want to add anything else? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you want another step.
Yeah, I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah. Persons shall be allowed roosters. Complaints of roosters to the Board of Health may result in removal of said livestock determined by the board.
Yeah, I think that's sufficient. It
Okay.
seems-
yeah, they can keep it unless there are complaints.
Okay,
All right.
I just want to make sure.
And then we need to talk about it.
Okay.
I like that.
They're not willing to do anything about it, right? And
Right, right. And somebody can always come and talk to us about it, that's fine.
Okay. And then there's a whole list of penalties that I have. I don't think we should get into right now because there's like 5 of them, but maybe at your discretion, take a peek, see how you feel about them. I just want to make sure if you want me to go lenient, a little more. let
Is
me
that
know.
towards the end?
Yeah, towards the end.
Enforcement penalties?
Yeah, yeah. So just take a look, let me know your thoughts. Just kind of want to throw it out there.
Yeah, you had already changed, I'm just looking, I had a note circled, the number 50 on E in that same section. E, enforcement of this regulation
Yep.
shall be criminal. Penalty of non-compliance with any rules, regulations shall be a fine of 58, and I just put a note up to. I don't know if you had already done that or not.
No, I haven't.
Up to 50 per day.
Yep.
I have a few other things when,
Sure.
whenever you're,
No, I'm good. Yeah.
that's it?
Yeah.
All right, the keeping of livestock form,
Yep, yep, yep.
the one that people will fill out.
Yep.
I had a line, I think, that wasn't covered in it, that I think maybe we should add, and I'm thinking right underneath where it says the Douglas Animal Inspector will contact you to schedule inspection, above or below that, and the line would read something to the effect of, please indicate the estimated number of each species kept below for the year in question,
Hang on. Okay.
just as an instruction of what we were looking for there. Please indicate the estimated number of each species kept below or please indicate below the estimated number of each species kept for the year in question. Something to that effect.
Start over.
I know, my writing,
I have, please indicate the estimated.
number of each species kept for the year in question. There we go. That's perfect, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, now onto this, and there's only a few, guys, I'm sorry.
no,
There's only a few. I'm on 4 general requirements, Part D.
Part D.
Yep.
Okay.
It says all permanent animals must be confined. I would recommend that we change that to something more on the effect of an adequate attempt must be made to confine all permanent animals.
Okay.
As in, animals sometimes break fencing. And if goats get out and, you know, I don't know, do something, it's hard to ask somebody to take.
So you want to do adequate attempt to confine?
Yeah, must be made to confine all permitted animals. And at first I did an attempt, but then I said, you know what, somebody's going to come up with some crappy
Well,
fence.
how can you confine, like, chickens?
Mine stay behind a 4-foot fence. I'll trim one of their wings. If I got a 4-foot fence, my 6-foot fence, they can't fly over that.
So they can't just free range?
Generally, no, not unless I let them out. If I had bantams, my bantams might be able to fly. Some breeds are lighter and could fly, but you could always cut one of their wings.
Yeah.
You don't have to actually, there's different ways. You can just cut the feathers every
Sure.
time they molt, and they won't fly. Just one wing, and they won't fly anymore.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I'll remove the secure fencing.
Yeah, so just adequate,
Yep.
an attempt at adequate fencing. That way we can say like, you're not even trying.
Yeah,
Or you can say like, you tried and something happened.
Yeah.
Somebody left the gate, some little kid left the gate unlocked, or like they broke down the fence. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
animals do crazy stuff. All right. Yeah. Next page. The temporary permits?
Yep,
No person, corporation, establishment operating in the town, any petting zoo, pony ride. I had a quick, because I seen, you see pictures of, but like the Douglas Orchard, they have animals all over the place, and people are always petting them, and
Like a petting, yeah.
that's kind of like a petting zoo, not really, so those are display animals that public that go to the orchard, can view and interact with to some extent. Should we have a way to mitigate that, besides the keeping of livestock, because that's sort of a step up from somebody having pet goats.
Should that be
Now the public
a
is there.
separate area that you would designate?
Almost. I mean, if not, and I'm sure I haven't been there, but I'm sure they have hand wash stations. I would assume that they have hand wash stations all over the place where people are petting animals, but there should be some sort of a regulation to sort of, to have that funnel into. If you're an establishment where you have public coming to your place,
I think that's the only place in town.
you should have,
Anything like that, right?
it might be,
Yeah.
but you should certainly have hand wash station where people can, people shouldn't be eating donuts and petting goats or chickens, so.
I'm not sure how this comes out, but is there a possible liability to the town? Because
For a failure to have a regulation?
in a petting zoo environment, an animal acts up,
I don't think so. I think that would be to the homeowners, to the person, and they would have an LLC or would have insurance for that type of situation. Their insurance company would probably take care of that, I would imagine. You would pay a higher insurance. I think if you were offering a petting zoo, I think your insurance would go up if your insurance company knew. If not, if somebody got hurt and tried to sue you, I think that would be a you problem.
I was at the orchard over the weekend, and every animal was, that's not going to say someone can't go up to the fence, but it was.
Yeah, they keep them all in.
Yeah.
The picture I saw was just the animal sticking its head through, or the kid sticking its arm through, or something.
The same kind of thing. But it looks like they cleaned some of those.
This was in Douglas? The
Yeah.
Douglas Orchard? Yeah.
So I would say,
He does a pretty good job.
if he does, the place is beautiful.
Yeah.
Last time I went, they do an immaculate job.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, if you're at a place where animals are able to be touched by public,
But I think that's the only place in town that has that petting animals. I don't know. You
Yeah,
know
I'll do
better
some
than
sort
I.
I can't think of another place where they
Right.
try to bring people in and have animals there.
Right.
yeah. This one was more so just to not have like a circus.
Yeah, right, without a permit. You can't just, like the circus that came to town a few years ago,
Yeah.
remember that?
Exactly.
Right down the street
All
from
of
your
a
house.
sudden, they're there.
Yeah, elephants in
Lions
your
and
backyard,
I
huh?
thought I was dreaming.
No, that was real. So I mean, if people, I don't know if we require a permit for a situation like that where we can make sure people have hand washing stations, or if that's just up to their discretion. I'm not sure how the board wants to proceed with.
I thought we only had deer in the backyard.
And then if you do have a petting zoo like that, like if you do offer a place where public can play or pet your animals, should we have a permit for that? Should there be a permit process for that? Should it be a year-long permit if you're doing that?
Do you, can they feed the animals there?
I didn't see that
Okay,
at all.
okay.
Oh, yeah, feeding? I didn't even think of that. Like if you could
Just
pet them,
curi- yeah.
you can feed them.
I think they do.
You do?
I think they do have
Like the little.
little, yeah.
You know, you do a little
machines.
dispenser,
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't-
Dispenser,
I didn't see
feed.
that. Yeah,
Then I would assume they have a hand wash station too then, if they have food stations.
I hope so. I don't know.
That could be something that can be added in. I can just add another section of a reg for that for now.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I believe it.
I believe they have one.
Yeah, you only get E. coli once, and then you don't want it again. That's a one and done thing, so.
Okay.
We might want to look into that.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit more about the temporary permits, petting zoo, that type of situation. And that was all because I just saw a picture. All right,
There's a lot to this.
yeah, I'm almost out. I only have 3 more. Sorry, number 8, this is
something
keep going.
that is good. This should have been
Temporary
done a long
permits.
time ago.
I guess it's number 5, Roman numeral 5,
We can
number
blame it
8.
on previous board manager.
Roman numeral 5, conditions of granting a permit to keep animals under the same temporary permits. Like temporary permits was 4, 5, oh, 6, I'm sorry. Oh, no, it is 5, I'm sorry. 5, conditions for granting a permit to keep animals.
Yep.
And then number 8, the permit in the state maximum allowed animals as determined by the Board of Health, determined on a case-by-case basis, comma, and I would add based on MMP, FMP, PMP, and general husbandry practices.
MMP,
Yep, the FMP,
FMP.
Forgot
PMP,
ABC.
and general husbandry practices.
What does that?
General,
Manure management plan, feed management plan, and pest management plan.
Okay.
general what?
General husbandry practices. That way, it'll have the maximum number of animals, but we determine
Yep.
that case by case based on
Yep.
how they're going to do things, you know?
Yep.
All right, I'm getting there. Sorry. And then I'm on the next page. What is it? It is B, D.
Okay.
BD. Section B, keeping animals in a stable or barn. D, instead of permittee or their agents, the residents keeping, or, because if it's not a permit, it's the keeping of livestock form.
Okay, so you want me the permittee or the residents?
Yeah, because if they don't have a permit, if they're just filling out a keeping of livestock form, they should still follow the same rules as everybody else.
Okay, yep.
But again, that would fall back to the Animal Welfare Act. And then, next page, minimum standards, A is general, B is livestock, and down at J, persons shall be allowed roosters, what you were just talking, and we might have already covered this, if attempts at minimizing nuisance are not successful.
Say it again?
It says complaints of roosters of the board may result in the removal of said livestock. I put common sense courtesy, but I don't think you can write that in. But results in removal of livestock if attempts at minimizing the nuisance are not successful measures. So it says something like they've attempted to do something and it's still just not working. Still not working. Then we may ask to remove.
If attempts at minimizing nuisance.
Yeah, or ineffective or something.
All right.
Or not successful, right? And that's all my notes.
That's
great.
Good job.
Good job. Very good.
Okay.
Just
We're getting there.
Just out of curiosity, with the swine situation that we had in the past,
Oh, yeah.
how does that, how would we address that today with these regulations?
Same way.
The same way?
I think the same way. We would just have a regulation to fall back on as far as the nuisance, and, because that was a runoff situation. I think that would fall into the manure handling plan,
I see, yeah.
Yep.
manure management plan.
Yep.
How about
So obviously their
care of
manure.
animals as well?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't breaking any animal welfare or any of those type of things. Those animals were very well cared for, I thought. I don't think they had a very good manure management plan was the problem.
Right.
And that was what was creating the issue
Okay,
with the neighbor.
but at least we have something to.
Yeah, now we have, you know what, sorry, your manure management plan isn't adequate. We need to come up with something different.
Right.
If you want to keep them. And now we have that in writing, saying that you need that if a problem arises.
That's great, thank
So-
you, Corey.
Hopefully that'll help a little bit in that situation.
Get your answers.
Okay, we have on the agenda, transfer station discussion. Do we have anything to discuss?
Did you want to talk?
We're talking tomorrow about access to the property.
I am
You don't need to
amazed,
talk here.
I am amazed at the tonnages,
Oh, yeah,
A and B.
I know.
I know, Steve, you're not a board member, but have you seen these tonnages lately, buddy?
We have to.
14.66?
Yep, They're doing a good job.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's the highest, that might be a
I
record.
don't know, I've seen that.
I don't know.
Before.
Yeah, do the guys know they don't win anything for breaking a record? Thank you so much.
It used to be anywhere like 8 to 12,
We have,
up to 14,
we have a
Yeah.
motivated crew up there.
evidently.
Yeah, they're doing
Yeah,
great.
really.
They're doing, and I've heard really great things about the current guys.
Yeah, they have. They're
A
doing
lot of
a good
people
job.
have said, like, we really enjoy those guys.
Yep, they're doing a great job.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll see you, Steve.
Night.
I think we can move on from here. Everybody okay with that?
It's awesome.
Public health nurse. Yes.
So I'm helping Kristen with the Oktoberfest activities. So two of us, we are both Serve Safe.
There's a list of all the food vendors that are coming in the packet. Tons.
Yes, and we will be busy Saturday morning because we are both Serve Safe certified, and Emily trained us how to inspect the tables.
I don't believe you're ever busy. Now, come on.
No, we will be busy. This,
Yeah, right. You guys, you never stop. It's more like it.
yeah, so that's the project for this coming Saturday morning. So we know what to look for. She trained us. She went through all the applications, really specified what we should pay attention to, and being certified, Serve-Safe certified, that will help us. And also BVPPH will have their own table, the inspectors, Emily, and so we're going to be with them offering some educational materials,
That's good.
answering some questions. So they're going to run the table, but we're going to join them.
Yeah.
And beside that,
So
You know,
these
people
the
are still-
These are the vendors here?
Yeah. Just the food vendors. That's just food.
Is the fire department not here this year?
they are.
They are there. Where are they?
So tons of applications Kristen had to go through.
Maybe, actually Julie did most of it.
Okay, moving on. We already did the regional health inspector. Right? That was her, right? She's the
Oh, yeah,
regional
but
health-
she
Yeah,
left.
she
Yeah,
left.
yeah,
Okay,
Check.
yeah,
Landfill gas monitoring report, we have that?
yes.
Yeah. Any,
Like you said, it was good.
yeah. Okay, all approved? Then we have Oktoberfest discussion.
That was the,
That was just now.
That was the list. Looks like a good list. Still growing, or is that it? Is
yeah,
that,
there's some people not on here yet that we've gotten since.
so, wow, so there's a few more in
Yeah.
addition, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
How about
Good, I'll be there all day.
the famous french fries?
I'll be in the booth
Ray's?
all day long.
No?
No. Might have other french fries, though. Sure.
Fries, sausages.
There's going to be a lot of stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So no cooking that day.
I don't think anybody will be hungry.
Okay, do we have approval of the minutes, 7/22/24 to 8/26/24?
Just Dick. You may want to wait for him. I'm sure he's reviewed them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I just didn't know, I know that there was one piece that was, this was going to be redacted, but was there a new statement?
Not yet.
Okay, all right, that's it. I just wondering about that. We're going to just.
Did a great job on that, Corey.
Thank you. Thank you. I kind of didn't think I had that many things to change again.
You're very
I've ever had.
knowledgeable about that. Really, you are. You're a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm gonna start
least I-
hanging around with you. a
I try to
little.
pretend.
Maybe some of it will rub off.
You fake it till you make it.
I told you that Jim Casino was a smart guy,
He's a smart guy.
isn't he?
Yeah, well-spoken, well-spoken. All right, I mean, I'm not good at, here's the man,
Yeah.
the guy we've been waiting for.
Okay, Dick, approval of the minutes? How do you feel?
Well, there's a problem.
Okay.
We have somebody who is, I can't find it in here. Oh, here it is. We have somebody who is masquerading as Ms. Harris and really is
I
Mr.
actually, I
Harris.
caught that. Yeah, I'll have her fix it.
Other than that, the minutes are fine.
We got a big problem
We'll make that change.
We got,
We'll make that change for sure.
And the same one, no change on the August 26th. Reads just fine.
Okay. All in favor?
yeah,
Aye.
I'll make a motion, we accept those.
Okay, motion made to accept.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Then it's- Okay, we move on, it's passed. Move on. Approval of the minutes, review bills, warrants, any questions on that? Okay, no questions. How about open session topics, anything?
I have one.
Okay,
I had Planet Aid come talk to me. They want to put a bin down at the transfer station. We don't have a lot of room down there, and we already have the Kiducation or the other bin that takes.
We've been asked that before. I think
Yeah.
We've always.
We really
I told them
don't.
I'd bring it up to the board.
Yeah,
There's smaller bins than what's actually down there now,
right.
and I think they'd have to, that gets emptied a lot.
Doesn't the St. Dennis has a bin out in their parking lot, I
St.
believe?
Dennis has one, they
There's
have one
one-
behind
Yeah,
the,
but the
Is it,
By the post office.
isn't there one over at the schools too?
The
The primary
post-
school?
oh, there you
Yeah,
are.
some.
near the post office.
There are some.
Post office, yeah.
Hey, Dave, you snuck up on me there.
I just pop in, I'm like the Wizard of Oz. Like that.
The one at the transfer station is mostly for, they're gonna reuse, not, recycle because you can put one shoe in there, broken zippers and
Yeah,
pants.
yeah, yeah.
Where the Planet Aid is,
Step up?
no, not simple, but that's stuff that they're gonna give people to wear.
Yeah.
Where the one, which you can find those anywhere, I feel, but like the transfer station is where you wanna get rid of things
But
that are soiled or,
right now,
Yeah.
everything seems to be moving through there pretty smoothly.
yeah.
If we add another bin.
And it does get full, so
Yeah,
I don't know, I would say,
yeah.
keep the one we have.
yeah, I think there's enough
Yeah.
additional drop-offs for things
That's what I
like
thought, but
that.
I said I would run it by you.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even thinking the elementary one, but there's that one.
Yes, there are
St.
two,
Dennis,
yes, two
there's-
containers, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Not to mention, I mean, if you go probably 2
Which
miles out of
benefits
town,
schools,
there's
too.
another 3 somewhere. Yeah, I think that was good, though. I mean, you never know without asking. That's a nice thing that they do, I think.
Yeah.
What's the
Good business model.
Zoom meeting below here?
Oh, that's for people to dial in.
Oh, you know, dial into the meeting?
So, yeah, like Rich and Dave, yeah.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Old and new, we need a meeting date, right?
Did we discuss,
Oh, yeah.
did
Oh,
we
that was-
discuss Oktoberfest in my absence?
Well,
Just the-
October
Just,
Fest?
yeah, the vendors. Do you have a list of vendors in your folder?
Say again?
There's a list of the food vendors in
I
your
got
folder?
you.
Yeah.
there was no motion or anything.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
no, we were just looking
All right.
at the vendor list.
Move we adjourn.
Next meeting,
What do we want to do, 28? October?
Let's see.
21st, 28th,
What's the 28th?
Monday,
28th of October, right?
yeah,
28th is
the last one,
good for me.
4 weeks away.
We'll do the
It's an easy
28th.
time.
Yep. So it begins, after that one, it's a rush to Christmas, huh?
Yep.
So 10/28.
You gonna go with that? It's a good starting point, good jumping off point. All right.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion. So moved.
So moved. Meeting's adjourned.
Seconded.
thank you, guys.